Well, we all know what's happening in the diplomatic row between Maldives and India. It's a row that's played out entirely on social media. And if you want more details about it, there's an entire video that I've put up right now that you can take a look at, which has the whole breakdown of everything that has happened so far. Now, in an update of what's happened since then, the Maldives government has been in conversation with China. And apart from signing 20 MOUs with them, key agreements with them, one included tourism as well. There was a meeting between the Chinese president Xi Jinping and the Maldivian president Mohamed Mizu. Now in India, giving you an update of what's happening. Remember, we talked about EaseMyTrip. This is a portal that does bookings for holidays and bookings for trips. And as you know, the co-founder and CEO of EaseMyTrip, Prashant Pitti, had put out a statement saying, in solidarity with our nation, EaseMyTrip has suspended all Maldives flight bookings. Now, the online travel solutions provider has also started a Visit Lakshadweep campaign called hashtag Chalo Lakshadweep. And, the co-founder has said that the water, the beaches are as good as Maldives or Seychelles. So, go ahead and make these bookings. In the meantime, we have the Maldives Association Tour and Travel Operators who have gotten in touch with, from what we understand, with EaseMyTrip and asked them to disregard the regrettable comments and have asked them to please reconsider blocking or boycotting all bookings to the Maldives. Joining me right now to talk about their position at this point is Prashant Pitti, a co-founder of EaseMyTrip. Prashant, thank you for speaking with me. First question to you. How did you and your team come about the decision of boycotting what was, until last week, a very popular destination for Indian holidaygoers?
Well, as soon as our Honorable PM visited Lakshadweep, within like 3-4 hours, I put out a tweet saying Chalo Lakshadweep. And it was nothing about Maldives. It was just about promoting our own homegrown destination, which has never been the center of the attention, yet as beautiful or even more than the other counterparts. And neither did our Prime Minister instigate or say anything about Maldives. But then for the next 3-4 days, we realized that one of the biggest value which we provide to Maldives is the tourism, and is the second largest travel portal in the country. We add up to it. Now we thought that if the ministers of Maldives do not care enough of the value which we are providing to their economy, and yet they can go on a spree about saying ill things about our country, about our citizens, and about our honorable PM. If they themselves do not value our business, then why should we give them the business? That was the thought process which we brainstormed upon. That as a company in the position of power, we hold the responsibility to uphold the dignity of the country. And in order to uphold the dignity of the country, we decided to not do business with Maldives anymore, since they do not seem to care enough about the value which we bring to them. So this was a logical thought process, and we knew that there would be repercussions. We would lose some business by taking this. But for us at that moment, country and its reputation came paramount. It preceded over anything else. And hence, on 8th of January, midnight, we took this call of not continuing to work with Maldives anymore. And we still abide with that thought process.
Prashant, we understand and shared by your co-founder as well that the Maldives Association of Travel and Tour Operators have asked you to reconsider. The Maldives government has said that these statements by their ministers do not reflect the official stand. We also know that the ministers themselves have been disciplined by the government. How long is this boycott from your end likely to last? Is it indefinite, or is there a point at which you will reconsider? What is the plan right now in your mind?
It's indefinite for the time being. More cannot be shared at the moment. Or when do we plan to resume the flight, if at all, cannot be shared. But at this moment, it's the status quo where you will not be able to book any flights to Maldives or any hotels or any tour package to Maldives at the moment on EaseMyTrip.
the shares of EaseMyTrip have climbed about 16% in the stock market today. You've also announced your entry into the insurance broking business today as well. Were these two things related or the complete coincidence?
See, market is completely out of our control. We do not, we cannot speculate the pricing of the share or where the market is going to go towards. It's purely demand and supply, which is not in our control. So I may not be able to comment upon the shares and their pricing, but all I can say is that EaseMyTrip is a very different company compared to all other travel companies. We grew bootstrap. Till today, the company has never raised any capital, while all our competitors have raised millions of dollars and have burnt it, have been loss making. While EaseMyTrip started with very meager amount of money, in the first 5 years, we only invested 15 lakh rupees of capital in the company. And yet we grew this company profitably to become the second largest travel portal. We share a very different ethos of working. And at times we have done this before as well. During the COVID times, we even before we got money from the airlines, because airlines was cash strapped. We couldn't get money from the none of us could get the money from the airlines. Our company decided to use our cash reserves and refund people from our own pocket up to 130 crores amount we have refunded to people from our own pocket at the time of lockdown. So we have taken decisions by putting our customer first, our nation first, and since we have made such decisions, we have become who we are. And on the basis of that, we feel extremely comfortable that for whatever the new business which we are starting related to insurance, we will be able to grow that business as well profitably. I'll give you some thought process on why we chose insurance as a business to begin. Firstly, we did our internal research and we found out that the overlap is magnanimous between the people who buy their air tickets online and the people who buy their insurance online. There's an overlap of 75% similar population. And guess what? We have 20 million people who buy travel products with us on a yearly basis. So we have such a huge database of people who use us on a yearly basis, and 75% of them do buy insurance as well. That's the reason number one why we chose this industry. Reason number two, there are two kinds of e-commerce. One e-commerce is related to logistics, where you have to deliver certain package. It could be a package of a mobile, it could be a package of a food, it could be a package of a apparel. And the second type of e-commerce is digital goods. Digital goods could be what we are doing, which is just sending an email copy of their air ticket is sufficient. Or it could be other kinds of digital goods. So insurance is one of those digital goods where there is no logistics required. And we know how to do this kind of e-commerce, which does not require, which only requires digital goods to be sold or sent.
So Prashant, it was a coincidence that the launch of your announcement of your insurance business and your ban on Maldives were just 2 days apart from each other.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would say that it's a mixture of everything which is working out in our favor at the moment.
Your co-founder has also tweeted and reminded the audience that your main competitor, EaseMyTrip, has Chinese investors. All is fair in love and war at this point in the market?
I don't think so. He sent out any tweet around that. It was just an acknowledgement of somebody saying that this is why maybe our competitors are not banning Maldives on their portfolio. It was not related to who they are. It was just an acknowledgement to say that maybe this is the reason why they're not. I mean, it's been 4 days since we have 3 days actually since we have taken this stand, and none of our competitors have decided to do the same. It's just EaseMyTrip. Everywhere else you can buy a Maldives ticket today. So it was a mere acknowledgement that this might be the reason why the actions may not have come from the other side. That's all.
I do want to ask you about Lakshadweep and your Chalo Lakshadweep. You said that this, as soon as you saw the Prime Minister's photographs, you started that campaign. Now, from my understanding, Maldives is currently taking about 2.5 lakh visitors from India in total per year, if I'm not mistaken. The population of Lakshadweep altogether is about 65,000. Do you think that at this point, before, I mean, the government has plans for large infrastructure that they're building, but at this point, do you think the islands can handle this, the shift of focus? And we understand there are a lot of Google searches happening. People want to go, people want to see Lakshadweep. Is Lakshadweep ready?
You have a fair point on that. Lakshadweep is not as developed as the other parts of the world is, and but there's always a start. And given that we know how at what speed this current government works, I have full faith in the next couple of years we should be able to see Lakshadweep in all its glory. For example, even for Ayodhya, they were able to develop international airport for Ayodhya in record-breaking 20 months time. So I believe that I have full faith in the government that they'll do the justice of what Lakshadweep should have. In the meantime, it's not just about Lakshadweep. India has many other places for people to visit. Andaman can soak up a lot many more people. Then Goa, Kerala, there are a lot of hidden gems. For example, I am very big proponent on one other place in India called as Marari Kulam. It's got one of the best beaches in India. Not many people know about it. It's got about 5,000 rooms, which are abundantly available. Most of the time, they are empty. 5,000 room nights is available in Mararikulam. It's very close to Alleppey, but not many people know about it. So there are many other hidden gems which are in India, which can be utilized. Plus, if you want, you can go to Sri Lanka. You can go to other neighboring places. You can go to Thailand. There's no dearth of good places to visit to. Our take is that we will not participate in handing over money to the government, which is not careful in at least acknowledging the fact that we have been their strong supporter, not just in terms of tourism, but also in terms of a lot of humanitarian actions. We have been a strong supporter of Maldives, and yet to have such unprovoked, I think I with the new regime which Maldives has, it's very close to Chinese government, as you have also rightly mentioned that they have signed multiple pacts. I think that were to happen irrespective whether what happened with India or not, it would have happened because that government is actually clearly close to Chinese government. The older government and Indian government shared very good ties, but the current government came out on a plank of India out, as you may be aware of. So yes, if you chose to bring that government which wanted India out as a campaign, India should go out and stop supporting Maldives.
Is this likely to be your stance towards other destinations or other countries that may take a stand or may make a comment? We've had a rough and tumble with Canada not long ago when the Canadian Prime Minister stood up in his parliament and made an accusation, which India has flatly denied, and the Canadian government has not displayed or put out any evidence for that accusation at all. It's been a fair amount of time since then. That's a fairly harsh view as well. Is EaseMyTrip likely to take strong positions against these other countries also? What about Canada?
See, there is a huge difference between what has happened with Canada and what has happened with Maldives. Firstly, the things which happened with Maldives was completely against the tourism within India.
Hmm.
The stand which they took was that India cannot develop a place like Maldives, and hence it was related to our field. It was related to tourism. And secondly, India, in terms of contribution to the GDP, contributes from tourism as an industry contributes to Maldives. Canada, we have hundreds of ties with. We do a lot of import and export, and tourism is a very, very small percentage. So we might not be the right people to take action when it is in relation with the Canada, because tourism is not the biggest trade which happens between India and Canada. With Maldives, tourism is the biggest trade which happens between India and Maldives. And hence, we thought that we are in position of responsibility to uphold the dignity of the country. With Canada or any other country where there's a tussle, if there's a country in future where tourism is the biggest, trade which happens between the two countries, yes, we would want to hold the dignity of the country and take the decisions on the basis of the merit of it.
I understand. Prashant, thank you so much for speaking with me and making your position clear. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.